today we're honing in on something really crucial if you want your spoken English to sound, well, more natural and confident.
hmm
We're talking about asking and answering questions, specifically yes, no, and WH questions.
Right. It sounds basic, but getting this right is honestly fundamental.
Exactly. We've looked at day 5 from this Spoken English in 40 Days material with David and Emily.
Yeah, they cover it quite nicely.
And our mission here is simple. Pull out the really practical advice, the stuff you can use right away to get better at using these questions.
It's interesting, isn't it, how much of daily conversation actually hangs on just these two types of questions.
Totally. From, grabbing a coffee to actually having a decent chat with someone.
Getting comfortable here,
Yeah.
it really speeds up your progress in speaking.
Okay, so let's start with the first type. Yes, no questions. Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, the ones you can answer with a simple yes or a no.
Like, do you like coffee? Or are you a student? Maybe, is it raining today? We use these constantly.
We absolutely do. And while just saying yes or no works, technically,
There's a but coming.
there is. The advice from the material, and it's really good advice for you listening, is don't just say yes or no. Elaborate a little.
Ah, right. Add some detail. So instead of just yes to, do you like coffee?
You'd say something like, yes, I love coffee. Actually, I have a cup every single morning. Something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It feels less abrupt.
It does, and it makes you sound more, well, fluent. It shows you can string a couple of sentences together.
It also kind of keeps the conversation moving, doesn't it? A flat yes can sometimes feel like a dead end.
Exactly. It signals you're actually in the conversation, ready to share a bit more.
Yeah.
It's quite important in many English-speaking cultures,
What's
actually.
your point? So moving on then to the WH questions.
Right, the information seekers.
These are the ones starting what, where, when,
Why, who, how.
the classics.
Yeah. And the examples they give are things like, what is your favorite food? Where do you live? When do you wake up? Also, why are you learning English? Who is your best friend? And how do you get to school? You know, typical conversation starters.
And the purpose here is obviously to get more than just a yes or no.
Precisely. These are designed to open things up. They invite longer answers, stories, explanations. This is how you get into, real conversations.
Deeper interaction.
That's it. You build connections using these.
Okay, so David and Emily actually have this mini dialogue in the material that shows how these work together. I think it's quite useful.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Emily kicks it off, asking David, what do you do in the evening?
Okay, a WH question to start.
And David says, I usually go for a walk and then watch a TV show with my family.
Nice. Detailed answer.
Then Emily asks, why do you like walking? Another WH question, digging deeper.
Following the thread. Smart.
Dave replies, because it helps me relax and stay healthy.
Good reason.
Emily keeps going. How often do you go?
Still in the walking topic. Good conversational flow.
And David says, almost every day.
See how that works. One WH question led to another, based on the answers.
It really does flow well. But then they switch roles, and David asks Emily, where are you from?
Classic WH opener.
She says, I'm from London, the capital city of England.
Giving a bit of extra context there, too.
Right. And then David uses a yes-no question. Do you enjoy living there?
Ah, okay. So WH for the basic fact, then yes, no for the feeling about it.
Exactly. And Emily answers, yes, I do. There's always something exciting to do. And notice, she didn't just say, yes, I do.
She added the why, the elaboration we talked about earlier. Perfect.
Yeah, it really shows how you blend these two types naturally. You use WH to get information, then maybe a yes-no to explore feelings or opinions about that info.
It's a very common pattern, actually.
Yeah.
Once you notice it, you see it everywhere.
Which brings us nicely to, well, practice. You listening need to actually do this stuff.
Absolutely. Understanding is one thing, using it smoothly is another. David and Emily really pushed this point.
They say practice asking and answering, even if it's just by yourself. Might feel a bit weird at first.
But it works. It helps embed the patterns. They even give specific questions for you to try answering out loud.
What were they again? Do you like learning English? That's a yes-no one.
Right, then what do you do after school or work? That's WH.
And how do you spend your weekends? Another WH.
And the key advice remains, give full answers.
Right. So first say, do you enjoy reading? Don't just say yes.
Try something like, yes, I really enjoy reading, especially mystery novels. I usually read for a bit before I go to sleep.
See, much more engaging. It gives the other person something to potentially ask about next as well.
And doing this practice, it builds not just your fluency, but your confidence too. You feel more prepared for actual conversations.
Less hesitation, maybe?
Definitely. You've rehearsed the structures so they come out more easily when you need them.
So, wrapping this part up, what's the main takeaway for you listening?
I think the core message from David and Emily, and it's spot on, is that speaking practice is king. You learn to speak by speaking.
And mastering these questions, yes, no, and WH, and how to answer them properly, that's a massive step.
Huge. They are the absolute building blocks for almost any conversation you'll have in English. Get these down, and you're well on your way.
Okay, so just to quickly recap, we looked at yes-no questions. Remember to add detail to your answers.
Makes a big difference.
We covered WH questions, what, where, when, why, who, how, and how they open up conversations.
Essential for getting more information.
And we saw in that little dialogue how they work together really naturally.
Yeah, the blend is key.
David and Emily also mentioned that day 6, their next topic, is about expressing likes and dislikes. Another very useful area.
Definitely practical. Maybe something for a future deep dive if people find this format helpful.
Could be. So as we finish up, here's something for you to think about based on all this.
Okay, a final thought.
Consider those moments where maybe an English conversation felt a bit stuck or ended too quickly.
We've all been there.
How could using a few more WH questions, maybe based on what the other person just said, have kept it going? How could they have helped you discover more and build a better connection?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's about actively using these tools, not just to speak, but to connect, moving beyond just the surface level.
Exactly. So get practicing. Ask those questions, give those detailed answers, build that confidence.
Keep at it.
That's it for this deep dive. Hope it's given you some useful things to work on. Until next time.